Welcome back. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I was supposed to post on the 4th, but I was like, I got to being out too late. It was like 11:30. I was like, let me just go to sleep. I'll do this later. So I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. So I'm here to do a review on and a recap on Please Don't Feed the Children. A little something different from Tubi. When we hear the word Tubi, we usually think of like a certain type of movie, right? This movie is a dystopian type thing going on. It kind of puts you in the mood of like 28 Days Later, right? Speaking of that, I know they have 28 Years Later out, which I have not seen yet, but I'm trying to do that. I was trying to do the thing for Rego where you pay $20 a month to just watch whatever, and I'm having a problem doing that. But anyway, so Please Don't Feed the Children. We're in a world where there's a virus that children carry. They're asymptomatic. Nothing happens to them, but it's contagious to adults. And they turn into these, not zombies, but these cannibals. But their outer appearance changes as well. So Mary, the main character, she's trying to find her way to, I think it was Belize, right? She's in America. She's trying to find a way because she found out children there are safe, whereas where they are now, if I remember, when the movie first comes on, she's explaining, doing the backstory of it. And so basically, if you're a child, they like put you in this camp. I'm sorry, this thing keeps moving. Put you in this camp to monitor you to see if you have any symptoms. And it's just really dangerous for kids. So she's on the run. She runs into this boy while she's trying to hide, and I think she made a noise or something because she told him, look, get away from me, go away, bye. So she ends up hiding with him, and then he's like, look, I got a spot, it's safe, it's just for us. And when he took her there, I found out it's an old community center, right? But they took the pool in the community center and turned it into like this chill spot. I thought that would look really cool. Like, that's a good idea if there's an abandoned building. Well, I guess you can't be in abandoned buildings for real legally, right? But that'd be cool. Like, if you could have an abandoned building, you got this pool, and you could turn into like the spot. You got a couch, decorations, lamp, all that. So he's there. He's not alone. He has a few other kids there with him. This is where they hide out. They pretty much live off of stealing food, going into abandoned houses where maybe people have fled because of the virus, or maybe they have died, and they just go get different belongings and stuff like that. So the word was put out that her and his name is Jeffy, the younger boy that she left with, were on the run, so they had to leave. So this is where we get to the part, I'm skipping over some stuff here, where we get to the part where we meet this woman who dresses like Little House on the Prairie. It's giving Little House on the Prairie, right? That time period, maybe even earlier. She has like the frilly aprons and stuff. They get to her house, and everything was cool. She's feeding them milk and cookies like a hospitable woman from the 1930s does, whatever. And so they try to get her car keys. This is where everything went left. Because their car, like I said, I had skipped over some stuff. They have some issues with their car. They're trying to get her car keys. Mind you, they had already drank the milk and ate some cookies. So they tried to steal her car. It was a struggle, and then they started to pass out. So this is where the main character, Mary, she wakes up in this room. The room is just as frilly as the house owner. She wakes up in this frilly, flowery room, clothes changed. One of the boys ends up by himself in this room with this shower that the woman turns on and off. And then the others end up in the attic. So she separated them. And we find out she separates Mary because she lost her daughter, I believe, to the virus. And she's trying to, I guess, compensate for that by being Mary's mom, and even though she's kind of being held hostage in a way. So they were like, oh, she poisoned us, and they're like, no, man, she poisoned us before we tried to steal her car, so she was on some other stuff even before she knew, right? So she talks about her husband Hank, who she's like, well, he's a police officer, he works nights, he'll be back and all this stuff. At first I was believing it. I was like, okay. So when I saw dude from he was in a lot of stuff. He was in Spike Lee's School Days. He was in Do the Right Thing. You probably know who I'm talking about as I name these movies. I want to say he was in Malcolm X. He's played in a lot of Spike Lee's earlier joints. He was in School Days, that dude. I thought that was her husband at first because he came up in like this sheriff attire, but he's actually her husband's colleague, and of course because of that he's cool with her. And he's like, yeah, so there's some kids that were holding up this convenience store. They took off in his van. Do you know anything about it? She lies and says no. And this is the part that's so funny to me. She was like, I'm paraphrasing, I can't believe, you would think that. And, oh my God. Meanwhile, you have kids in the attic. You have one in some dungeon looking thing, which he ends up getting killed. And you got one cosplaying as your daughter. Like, ma'am, I knew she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs then. The thing with this, even though it's the background is dystopian, I feel like the focus wasn't really on the virus too much. It was more so focused on this lady holding these kids hostage in her home. Whereas with, I'm gonna bring this up again, whereas with 28 Days Later, I feel like the virus itself was a character more so in that movie than in this one. And this one, it really wasn't. Until we find out that her husband Hank has the disease or the virus, and she keeps him locked up in the house, and she feeds him kids or different people that come by. So that's what we find out. Hank is alive, but he has this virus and he feeds off of people. Now, if you've seen this movie, did they mention what happened to her daughter? Because I think her husband ate their daughter when he turned into a cannibal from the virus. I think he ate her, and I think she felt guilty about it, and that's why she was trying to hold that girl hostage, pretending to be her daughter, because she just kind of was like, we lost our daughter to it. But I just feel like it's one of those things in a movie where they want the audience to kind of fill in the blanks for themselves. That's what I'm thinking. All right. So the way it ends is, of course, she ends up escaping. The sheriff guy, she kills him, the homeowner, but right after that, they kill her. Mary makes it out. A few of the kids die. I'm not going to recap too much because, if you've seen it. And so it ends with her and one of the guys. Jeffy, unfortunately, ends up getting killed. And I hate that because I think he was supposed to be like maybe the younger in the group, the youngest person in the group. But he ends up getting killed. The scene where the sheriff, and I'm calling him a sheriff, he might be, I don't know the difference between sheriff, deputies, and generals. So forgive me. Anybody in law enforcement watching this, forgive me, but I'm just gonna say sheriff. The scene where the sheriff, he hears the kids screaming and stuff, and he breaks into the house and he's like, look, tell me where she is, and then he gets shot. That scene reminds me of Misery, right? When Sheldon was almost free and the sheriff was in the house, because the sheriff had been studying and he was looking for this guy, the author, right? If you've seen Misery. And when he finally got there, and he shot his ass in the back. That's what it reminded me of, because it's like, no, like as soon as you finally get some help, bam, you're dead, all right? So this was, I like this movie. I like how Tubi has branched out, and I tell everyone, if you're watching Tubi, there's a lot of different things on there. There's some westerns on there that I haven't watched yet. Like I've seen one called Thicket with the guy from Game of Thrones, the little person, I don't know his real name. There's like 2 or 3 westerns that I've seen, probably more than that, but that I've seen. It's not just horror and like black drama hood movies. There's different stuff on there, and this is a Tubi original. So if you've seen this, let me know what you think. I do wish I saw more of the virus acting as a role, but maybe that wasn't what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, I think they were just saying, hey, this is the reason why these kids are on the run and living in abandoned buildings and such. So I think the meat of the story was mainly this woman, this crazy woman who's missing her daughter, and she's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and keeping children in her house. You see what I'm saying? So I'm guessing it was just more on that. So let me know in the comments what you think about Please Don't Feed the Children. Shout out to my 152 subscribers. Shout out to the rest of you as well who are not subscribed. But don't worry. I was looking at my hairs like I got to get it done again. But you can't subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, all right? By the end of this year. That's a lot because I'm just at 152. So we're talking about a little over 10%. See if we get that 90% down, all right? Peace and blessings to everyone watching. I will see you later. It's a Sunday. Gonna be doing a little movie watching, all right? Until next time.